A government-created post office bank is the solution to the banks shutting down their local branches. I'm Robert Barwick of the Citizens Party. Towns and cities across Australia can regain full access to banking services if our government were to create a public post office bank, a people's bank. We'll tell you more about how the Big Four have been closing bank branches and the devastating impact it's had on our communities in a minute. First, you should know we're asking you to sign our petition calling for the enactment of a government-created and owned post office bank. We'll come back to this towards the end of the video, so stay tuned. Award-winning journalist Dale Webster spent a year counting every bank in regional Australia. Her research revealed banks are secretive about their branch closures, and APRA's database of supposedly operational banks included branches which had actually been closed for years and banks which did not actually exist, including one located in the middle of a national park. The major banks have closed more than 350 branches in the last 2 years, as noted by Channel 7.
Most Australians do their banking online, but advocacy groups say around 2.5 million don't have the choice because they don't have the internet.
This is not an insubstantial group of people, and they're not all older people.
The poor people of Australia don't have technology at their fingertips.
Channel 9 reported on it this way.
In just 4 years, regional Australia has lost nearly a quarter of the bank branches it had left.
These are centres of commerce. These are very important parts of the Australian economy.
Dale Webster's research showed that since 1975, regional Australia has lost 62% of its banks. For the banks, it's merely a question of cost cutting and maximising profits. But for millions of elderly, poor and regional Australians, many without access to the internet, it's devastating and even life-threatening. What happens when a town loses its last bank? People have to drive 100 kilometres to the nearest town to get cash. Often they do their shopping in that other town too. As a result, entire communities are threatened. Once thriving areas are shrivelling and even faced with becoming ghost towns. In our modern society, banking services are as vital as postal services, water and electricity. Currently in Australia, 578 towns that once had one or more major banks now have no bank at all. So, what's the solution? Should we allow the short-sighted greed of a banking cartel to determine our future? Australia's history provides the answer. In 1911, a Labor government created the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, a people's bank. The first branches of the original Commonwealth Bank were post offices. Before it was privatised in 1996, the Commonwealth Bank played a brilliant and crucial role in industrialising Australia. The Citizens Party has drafted legislation to create a new government-owned public post office bank. This new People's Bank would make banking services available wherever there is a local post office. Licensed post offices, LPOs, are owned by people who live in your community. With a public post office bank, your LPO could become your bank, and the LPO group itself has endorsed the creation of a postal bank. The postal bank would make loans to individuals and businesses assessed on their merits and based on good lending standards. Excess deposits could be invested into infrastructure that Australia needs, like water and transportation projects. Because it will be a government-owned bank, it will be responsible to provide a public benefit. Rates and fees would be as low as possible, forcing the private banks to compete. Private banks would not want to close their branches because they wouldn't want to lose customers. A public post office bank would break the stranglehold the Big Four banks have over our country and our leaders. We need your support. If you agree this idea makes sense, we encourage you to take action now. It's urgent. Please sign our petition and join the fight for a better Australia for everyone.
Spoken and authorised by Robert Barwick, Citizens Party, Melbourne.